Hi guys, I hope you're having a great day today. In this video, I'm going to be doing a twin flame energy check-in reading. There are 3 groups to choose from. Group 1 is the honey calcite heart. Group 2 is the rhodochrosite heart. And group 3 is the Caribbean calcite heart. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups, or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you'd like to jump ahead. And up next is a close-up photo of the crystals to help you better make your selection. Hi, Group 1. You chose the honey calcite heart. So let's start by taking a look at what are your twin flames' thoughts and feelings about you and your connection at this time. Okay, we have judgment, instinct, 7 of Cups, strength, 10 of Pentacles, and hunt. So these are the energies right here of somebody who's feeling that they missed out at an opportunity to pass some kind of test that the universe had given to them in the form of an experience that they've had recently with you, or maybe this is a situation where you've been in no contact with one another for a while and it was kind of like something that came up right before that no contact situation happened where they almost had like a fear of not living up to your expectations, or history repeating itself either between the two of you if you were trying to like start again and pick back up where you left off, or this can also relate to something from their past, like a long-term connection, kind of like the idea of their biggest heartbreak, and sort of something that might have made them kind of momentarily pause and say, am I ready to let go of even like a painful place that like previous heartbreak has held, in order to make more space for the abundance of what is possible between the two of you. And it's like they stopped to think for too long and everything unraveled. This can also be something where they might have kind of misread certain signs, and instead of seeing like, okay, the universe has my back, like this feels right, it feels good instinctually, there's almost a sense of they might have gotten caught up in this idea of like everything seems a little too good, it seems a little too calm, and so they started actively kind of like looking for red flags where there might not have been any, or fell into some sort of tendency towards self-sabotage, and they themselves became that like walking red flag that's created some kind of interruption, a change up in their behavior, or again, this idea of like full no contact between the two of you, that they're recognizing at this particular point in time, like you might have taken steps forward, or they were ready to take steps forward, but now they're kind of coming into this place of lucidity, and it's like, oh shit, I've ended up 2 steps backwards somehow. How did this happen? So it feels like they're very frustrated with themselves at this particular point in time. They feel very foolish at getting spooked, becoming skittish. There's a sense of we need to rebuild somehow, or I don't want things to end this way between the two of us. I was wrong in flinching from you, in running from you, in pushing you away from me. And so there's a sense of they're almost standing between two worlds. Like, what would have motivated that? The circumstances with you in the here and now, or when you were last in contact with one another, they're looping back into some kind of old experience with like a person that's not in their life anymore, that they don't want back. They're not trying to make amends with anyone else, but there's a sense of almost like, why did I project my fears out of what happened in that situation? Why did I let that muddy the waters here in what I have with this person who they're looking at you like you're the 10 of Pentacles, you're the cat's meow, you're the full package. And so there's a sense of they understand that they're kind of like stuck in some quicksand at this particular point in time. They've kind of pushed you away, they've run off, and yet they're very much stuck in place. Like, okay, now you need to look at what was that trigger. Now you need to sort of sit in time out and kind of think about this. Think about what motivated it. Because it feels like it might have been just very abruptly, like a hot and cold energy, or even just a switch flipped inside of them, where then they might have started towards this tendency of self-sabotage or feeding into that current of fear. And now they find themselves at a place where they've either created distance between the two of you emotionally, in the sense of like, how do I get back to where we were? Or there's like literal distance now between the two of you. There's silence between the two of you. And there's a sense of their understanding, like there was some kind of irrational fear on their part that is a threshold they need to like release in some way, or even just sit and look at within themselves before they can even like grant themselves permission to try and access you once more. Like they're seeing you as the prize, as somebody that they fumbled. And so there's a sense of like, I have to not allow my fear to determine the next steps forward. It feels like they're very focused at this particular point in time, like laser focused on sort of, okay, what do I need to do to get back on track here? What do I need to do to get out of this pit that I've fallen into that has existed in me for quite some time? And I thought I was over that other heartbreak. I thought I was ready for a connection, or what we have together is different than anything I've ever known. So why am I back here staring at these old wounds or these old fears that have nothing to do with this connection, this twin flame connection, this present circumstance, or what you had when you were last in contact with one another? So this is somebody who's like introspecting at this particular point in time, like they're forced to. They can no longer hide behind that illusion. It's very clear to them that they're the one that kind of interrupted the harmony between the two of you. They stumbled, they faltered, and so there's a sense of they're seeing that very acutely. There's no place left for them to run and hide from this reality. So they're thinking very clearly now at this particular point about, okay, I see some kind of glimpse of the pattern, something that has happened, a chain of events that is not arbitrary. How do I break free from that cycle so that we can start something new, so that I can swoop in with that apology, with that open communication, open the floodgates emotionally so that I'm able to exchange with you more and we can progress forward, that this isn't where our story ends, but that there's something more between the two of us. So let's take a look at some blocks, obstacles, challenges, and fears that they're dealing with right now. Okay, we have Apple, risk and reward. Spider, community and web weaving. And invisibility, authenticity. So your twin flame has an issue most likely with expressing emotions, showing emotions. They've been taught or trained to believe that emotions make a person weak, or it's a source of vulnerability, that it's almost like the Achilles heel. And so they've worked very hard in their life to kind of close that off. Most people only see the illusion or a mirage, an image that they wish to project outward, but like who they truly are is hidden very deeply inside. And it feels like you got closer to that version of them, or they started feeling something within that aspect of who they are that you might have gotten glimpses of. It feels like you're not fully aware of what this person's capable of in terms of like when they feel safe to open their heart. This is somebody that they love, and they've not been successful at it so far. And so there's a sense of they barricaded kind of what's left, the best of them. Life and heartbreak has taken bites out of them. It's taken pieces out of them. And so it's almost like this is kind of the hope that remains inside, and I keep it under lock and key. And you've come into all of that somehow. And there's a sense of almost disbelief, like, are you real? Are you really that person? Is this just an illusion? If I reach for you once more, again, further, is this going to be my demise, or is this going to be my salvation? There's a fear of you seeing them for who they really are in some sort of way, or something that may be involved in like, they almost feel, and maybe the circumstances are they could just come back in very nonchalant, just like, hey, yeah, I was busy. I was, I had a lot going on, but now I've freed some time up and let's get back on track. It may be a circumstance like that where all of this has just been kind of playing out internally, but they've had a very good poker face. You haven't seen the distress inside. You might have sensed some emotional detachment, or the no contact could be like, hey, I'm going to be busy from work. I don't have a lot of time. Or maybe even someone that's like, I need to sit and think about this for a while. Just whatever that looks like, there's a sense that they could come back in, or they're feeling like that's an option to try and just skim over this, just brush right past it. We pick up where we left off, and things start to get better, and then that would heal this wound. But there's a sense of almost like feeling that there's an opportunity here to take full advantage of almost what's offered within this connection. Like you've penetrated some wall or barrier within, and there's a sense of like they stand at a crossroads moment. We can weave a new kind of destiny with one another. I come back into your reality and we have that deep talk. I make some sort of confession, or speak some kind of truth that lets you know I'm not oblivious to this kind of wounded part of me. I'm looking at it, I'm working with it, I'm doing the best that I can. Like that's a road that it feels like really compels them. But it's something that it's almost like once I let you into that place, once I open up in that manner, once I don't just try to play it cool, but we're going to really get down there and talk about the things that frighten us. I'm going to talk about how intensely I feel for you and how much it frightens me. Once that happens, it's almost like here's my full trust placed within you that you will not be unkind to me, that you will be gentle with my vulnerability, gentle with my soul. So there's a deep sense of anticipation of kind of like, if they open up in this manner to you, or progress forward, kind of carry forth some sort of plan of action that they're putting into place as far as like, I want to make things right, then there's a sense of like, I've not let anyone in this close in a long time, or maybe at all. And so it feels like it's making them sort of nervous. This kind of like fear of failure, but then there's also the sense of like a fear of kind of like, but what if this works? What if this feels really good? What if I don't have to carry around that woundedness anymore because I've finally aligned with someone that's good for me, that my heart is in safekeeping with? So let's take a look at their potential actions towards you. Okay, we have balance and koi fish. So it feels like most likely they'll play it coy, they'll play it cool, they'll come in some kind of nonchalant way. If this is somebody that you're in like a total no contact with, they may make up some excuse. Hey, I've got some news to share, something important, to kind of like inform you of, and that opens those lines of communication where then they can get to the business of like, okay, so that news is out of the way. So how have you been? How have things been going? And it kind of like eases into this more expanded interaction between the two of you. For others, this is also kind of a process of this person working to sort of still that nervousness, go with the flow, come to a place of calm, and reassuring themselves like if it at any point in time feels like, hey, this is too vulnerable, I'm feeling too honest. There's almost like they're promising themselves, you have that safety zone to kind of just scuttle away once again. Although they know and they're looking at it like, if I keep doing this to this person, this hot and cold, they're eventually going to close the door permanently to me. If I don't hold my ground and move forward with confidence, then what's the point of even like resurfacing at this point? So it feels to be something that there's movement forward. This is somebody who's like swimming across those troubled emotional waters within to try and find a way to get back into the flow state with you, to offer apologies if necessary, hold space for you to ask questions, or to even kind of give certain ultimatums. If I let you back in, this is what I require. There's a sense that they anticipate that would be necessary. That kind of a conversation in some sort of way would have to take place, even if it's like they slide in very just kind of cool and neutral. There's a sense of like, okay, this isn't just to kind of parlay back and forth in the same zone that we were at before. Like, we need to take things to the next level, and so that may be where these kind of like boundaries or ground rules sort of come in, where they come in the easy way, but then it's like, okay, let's build now in the direction of something got triggered, something made me fearful, I want to reach out to you, I want to move towards you, but I've got this wound inside. So how can we kind of navigate around that? And that may just be, again, like an internal kind of check-in with themselves as they're moving towards you, is sort of like, okay, there's that wound. How do I navigate around that so that it doesn't keep thwarting what's possible with this individual and us building towards the future? So let's get some guidance from Spirit about this, and then I'll get some message cards from their higher self. Okay, we have vast vistas, expand your horizons. So this is the energy of keep an open mind with this person. It's like they're kind of like a jack in the box. They're going to pop out and surprise you at any moment. It feels like you won't necessarily be able to sense or anticipate like, okay, this is the day. The signs and the synchronicities will only point to that kind of period of time. And maybe you're experiencing that right now. You're feeling the pressure of that, like something's going to happen. Movement's going to happen. This isn't an invitation for you to rush towards this person, for you to break the silence, or you to be the one to kind of come down off the position that you have had to take through whatever's happened between the two of you. It's like, let this person enact the process that they have kind of been working on within themselves. They've been scripting, they've been choreographing. Let them show you, let them demonstrate that to you, because it's their wound that caused them to back off or push you away. And so it's them that has to kind of like take that leap of faith to ride this wave of love, enter this vessel of love with you, and move forward on into a better future. Or they do nothing and they remain kind of in a previous chapter of your experience going forward. So it's like the ball's in their court, and the best thing that you can do to kind of serve the optimal outcome in this situation is, continuing to kind of like focus on the things in your life that are going well, that are having positive effects to your efforts. That can be your wellness, your healing, friends, family, things with work, things in your life that you're giving and it's giving back. That's the best place to put your focus, while this person kind of like cranks their own lever and gets to that place of tension within, that it's like, okay, I'm going to hit send on that email that I have saved in my drafts. I'm going to, write this text message out and actually send it this time. I'm going to dial that phone number and I'm going to wait until you pick up and we're going to have that conversation. Something like that, like just give them that opportunity to sort of hoist themselves up out of this place where they backed off. In order to take that step forward, they have to kind of pull themselves out of this rut of the like 2 steps back energy and situation that they find themselves in with you. So let's see what they want you to know from their higher self. Okay, the first one that we have is I was in denial. So it feels like this person has surrendered to some truth inside of themselves, that they're in love with you, that you're the love of their life, you're the person that they want to be with, no matter how uncomfortable expanding into new territories of vulnerability might be, that there's a sense of I'd rather experience that discomfort, penetrate that barrier and move into a place where I'm comfortable once again, where it feels right, where I'm able to settle and relax into the connection with you, than watch you move on with your life without me. They also say, I do love you, I just don't know how to show you right now. So again, somebody who is thinking heavily about you, what the next move towards you will be, what they'll say, when that'll happen, setting the scene, setting the stage for this reemergence into your reality. Yeah, and they also say, I'm worried about you moving on. So they know time is of the essence. You're not going to wait around forever for them. Eventually you'll meet someone else, or maybe you're already dating at this point, and there's a sense of like, okay, now this person has options. Now they are no longer just sitting in the corner and crying. They're getting on with their life. They're living their life. I haven't secured a permanent position with this person because I've moved about like this is just a flexible or temporary circumstance, and that doesn't feel comfortable for them. So it's like they're getting ready to come in, it feels like, and provide you with something that gets attention in an active sense back on them. Not like, okay, I'm acting out and it's negative attention, but no, let's talk this through, let's work this out, let's kind of meet in the middle and find some sort of common ground where we can rebuild in a sturdier direction with one another. So let's get some initials. This can be a first, middle, or last name, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got F, G, O, B, B, V, A, E, W, N, M, Z, C, I, D, D, Q, T, U, V, N, and E. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 2. You chose the Rhodochrosite heart. So let's start by taking a look at what are your twin flames' thoughts and feelings about you and the connection right now. Okay, so we have the Queen of Pentacles, Strength, Nine of Pentacles, Confidence, Seven of Wands, and grow. So these energies speak to somebody who is standing in awe, looking at you, going through some kind of process of either claiming your victories. That can be in the form of like standing in your power again, or for the first time ever, in the aftermath of like a tough cycle that you've come through, ways in which you needed to kind of redirect your focus. You needed to reconstruct certain plans for something that you'd put in place. There were detours, there were obstacles. You needed to do some deep diving, some soul searching within. You like enclosed within a cocoon. This may have even been something that was kind of the byproduct of your twin flame connection, kind of sparking an awakening, dark night of the soul, anything as far as kind of some turbulence along your ascension journey, even that your twin flame has felt, has experienced, has been, participating with in their own way. That may be reflected in a different manner, maybe some than like what you've been going through. You may or may not have like talked very openly about this, but they're almost looking at you as somebody like you are a pillar of strength. You are an inspiration for them as far as what it means to kind of ride the waves of the highs and lows of life. It is making them really feel that you are their counterpart, the yin to their yang, the soulmate, the other part of them, that when you two are plugged in together, there's that power couple. That is very clear to them at this particular point in time. Maybe even ways in which you've held your ground and like focused on yourself, or not allowed yourself to get knocked off your path through whatever they were going through, like spiritual awakening, dark night of the soul, rough parts of their own ascension journey in a mundane sense, or even kind of opening up to sort of transcend the boundaries of what they've known of like love in general, to start to explore kind of, wow, this is higher level love. This is something that's more intense, that's more transformative or more pervasive than like anything I've ever experienced with another person. What does that say about this other person? What does that say about me? They may have been like reaching very deeply within themselves recently, or maybe even, this has been kind of a ongoing theme in your journey with one another. And they're looking to you and how you've handled this whole process. You've shed what you needed to shed. You continue to like shine your light even brighter in various ways. And so it's something that they're seeing you as like, you are very empowered. They almost feel like you're the true leader within this situation, especially if like you're the divine feminine. There's a sense of like you're the leader in this circumstance. They may be in that like masculine energy, that projective, action-oriented. You may be the more kind of like sensitive or intuitive of the two of you, or within this kind of dynamic. But there's a sense of you lead the way for the both of you. This is somebody who it feels like is ready to start to defer to your intuition. There may have been certain things that you had like said, or even just kind of like words of wisdom that now make sense. It was like a penny for their thoughts at one particular point in time, that like now that makes sense. In this chapter of their narrative or your story with one another, those words have taken on deeper meaning. And I'm hearing the phrase oracle, so they may see you as like an oracle in some sort of way, to where it's almost like, if we can continue to progress forward with one another, I sense that you are somebody who can see into higher truths. You see into yourself so deeply, or you make efforts to kind of keep that conscious contact with yourself open and an active part in how you move through the world. And this is something I've never experienced in a partnership with another person. And it feels like, to participate as opposed to resist this connection, it's leading them in the direction of their highest good. Through your eyes, they're able to see through the illusions of many things in their life. They're very grateful to have you in their reality, even if there's like, you've both been kind of self-focused, You've had a lot going on. There's a sense of like they think of you in the midst of whatever the pressures are within their day-to-day reality. And it's almost like I'm so grateful that somebody like you exists within the world. When I feel weak, when I feel that I am faltering, I think of you, I look towards you, I reach out and speak to you, or I watch you from afar, and it helps to bring me back home to center. Helps me know I'm not alone in this world. So let's take a look at some of the blocks, obstacles, challenges, and fears that they are dealing with right now. Okay, we have the witch, the earthly weaver of the worlds. Scrying, intuition. And eternal love. Love is love is love, and it transcends physical death. So your twin flame may be or may have recently been getting almost like visions, downloads, flashes of imaginings that felt too real to just be like the product of an overactive imagination, that are like snapshots into past lives that the two of you have shared. That, and I just keep hearing, is this real? Is this real? Is this real? Like these things that are happening, maybe even within the dream space, but it feels like things that are also happening within their conscious awareness. So maybe they started meditating, or again, it's just like part of where they're at in their ascension process, in like their spiritual awakening is, you know, they're awakening their clairsentience, their clairvoyance, that intuitiveness that they so admire within you. This is almost like helping to provide some kind of stability for the awakening of intuition on a deeper level within them. That there's almost a sense of like, as this faculty within themselves is coming online, this intuitiveness, it's incorporated more into how they're operating in the world, not just from ego, but also from intuition. There's almost a sense of kind of like you're anchoring them through this process knowingly, in terms of, you know, when you have kind things to say, or, you know, the generosity of your time, or like good experiences you're having with one another, but also in like your higher self or your souls are like holding hands through this process with one another. There's a sense that they feel bad that they ever doubted you or your intentions at any point in time. There's a sense that at a certain point, and maybe they're still kind of working their way through this, but there almost might have been something that felt so real, like beyond deja vu, these past life recognitions of like, I know you from somewhere, and it's not something that they've been able to kind of shake, and now they're opening that aspect within themselves, like these precious memories that the two of you have, because these don't feel to be like negative past life imagings. It's almost like deeply intimate moments, profound expressions of loyalty, the idea of like love always wins in the end, that is being like shown to them, like remember this has been part of our story before. No matter what it looks like right now, we have come through things like this, we have come through worse. Our love has endured, our love has survived, and that's being translated just soul to soul between you and your twin flame right now. And there's a sense of like this person almost going like, I don't even know if I really knew what love was prior to encountering you, because it's like I love you, or I'm falling in love with you in the here and now, and each time I enter into that territory of conscious contemplation within myself, it's like the soul is saying, yeah, you've always loved this person. Yes, this is not just the person who works for now, who's single, and you're single, and so why not get together? But it's almost the sense of like destiny playing out in real time that may be very just outside of their comfort zone. So it feels to be something that's a bit It's like reassuring and yet confusing. Kind of like, what is this experience? What are these feelings? Am I just kind of like off in la la land, fantasy land, just kind of like, oh, I feel something so deeply for this person. Let me just make up a bunch of like fairy tale movies in my mind just to kind of like feed into that. Something that they might almost, when they think about it from that angle, it's like, that's so immature. And so they lead over into this place of like, if this isn't just fantasy or me imagining these things, if this is really a soul I have traveled through time with, or like our roads across incarnations have led to the here and now, what do I have to do in order to, on my part, kind of ensure that this is a happily ever after lifetime? This isn't one of those, I'll find you again in another life, but like, this is the fulfillment of that promise made at some point in time. And here we are in the here and now, in both of us in the flesh. How do I keep moving forward with this? How do I keep going with the flow of this? So it feels to be something that's almost like sacred and yet intimidating, how they're experiencing the energy between the two of you, and something that's almost like a mechanism that's been activated between your higher selves, between your souls, that's like transmitting to them or speaking to them very directly from like inside of themselves, almost like these memories that they brought forth in an aspect of them, their consciousness that was like dormant, unable to be accessed, had no point of correlation, and you've come into their life, and now it's like, okay, here are these embedded reminders of like, this love isn't just for the here and now. This is like timelessness. So let's take a look at their possible actions towards you. Okay, so we have the light, and I'm going to have to cover the image on this one just a second. Okay, so we have the light and the silence. So yeah, your twin flame right now is in a process of experiencing a glow up, an awakening of their psychic senses, maybe even the two of you energetically and psychically attuning to one another. It feels like this is like a death and rebirth process. It's something that kind of creates more symmetry, or it'll be easier for the two of you to connect and communicate moving forward, not just verbally, but like energetically speaking. This is somebody who's like rising to the occasion to meet you on that higher frequency. You're being tuned as well to correspond with them on sort of the optimal frequency for this next chapter of your story moving forward. And so it feels to be something that like the biggest movement forward at this time is a lot of dreams, a lot of telepathy, a lot of downloads, a lot of visions. The same thing that they're experiencing, you will be experiencing. You may even both be experiencing that right now. And it's kind of like, this is a sacred energetic time. Words would only get in the way in this circumstance at this period of time. So there's almost something where their higher self or their soul is the one kind of reaching for you at this point, but it's consciously noted by them. This isn't just something where they're moving through life in an unawakened or oblivious kind of state. They're very aware, and again, probably not necessarily speaking about it. They may tell you something like, oh yeah, I had the weirdest dream about us, or yeah, you know, if they meditate, like, yeah, I, you know, had these feelings or these visions, these downloads occurred in meditation. There may be something in that context, almost talking about it sort of scientifically or philosophically. That may be something that they're wanting to kind of open up and explore with you very directly, is kind of the nature of things like that can be sort of a hint or teasing into the fact almost that it's like, I know a lot more than you think about this circumstance. I'm a lot more awake and aware than you would give me credit for, or than I've let you know was possible. For us, or for me, like my capacity, what I was willing to kind of experience before, like they've transcended some sort of limit. And so it feels like something where there's almost a need to kind of catch up or familiarize yourselves with like these versions of who you are before more kind of progress in terms of discussing the ins and outs of the mundane aspects of your connection. Like, where is this all headed? You know, what are we doing in a practical sense with one another? It's almost like this is a sacred energetic time. So there may be like very little in terms of, okay, they've given commitment, they're, you know, taking the plunge, they're you know, making that big declaration, but there's an awful lot that's going on in that energetic space. Both of you very consciously aware of that, and kind of just something that's almost like an automated process that needs to take place within the two of you in order to step into kind of that higher experience of what's possible in a 3D sense. It's like your energetic bodies need to be kind of aligned in some sort of way for that to happen. And so it's almost like their action towards you is allowing this, participating with this, not just ignoring it, numbing it out. It's like sitting there almost in shock and like, oh my gosh, wow. And this is them remembering, like, I am not just falling in love with you in the here and now. I'm not just in love with you in the here and now, but like you have compelled me through time. My soul is in love with you. Everything about me is aligned with everything about you. So let's get some guidance from Spirit. Okay, we have stepping into power. You are strong beyond measure. So this is encouraging you to, again, continue to just move through this process of anything as far as ascension symptoms, downloads, upgrades, you know, anything where you're like in dark night of the soul and you're coming through it. You're walking through those shadowy corridors in order to become the light within yourself. Trust in that. Trust that your twin flame is experiencing their version of this same phenomenon at this particular point in time. So it's almost like you have a rendezvous point. You have a place where, okay, we're going to get things moving in the material sense with one another, but our energetic bodies are being prepped. Work that you've done within yourself in other lifetimes and then the here and now, it's like a process of alchemy is taking place. The fears, the hesitations, the unknowing as far as just how deep the soul connection goes, all of that's being brought into the place of the light, not where it needs to necessarily be talked about and, you know, rehashed over and over again and, you know, like, okay, let's build from there, but almost just so you both have this like awareness so that that kind of meeting of the minds happens through the eye contact. Like, yes, I know you. And we cannot define all the ways that that has taken place or what that means for then, for the future, in many ways even for now, but it's creating that core, that center of gravity between the two of you, allowing that to take place in this energetic realm without pouring so much. It feels like almost like leaking energy into worry. When are they going to do something? When are they going to say something? When's it going to progress forward? It is progressing forward energetically at this point. And then it's almost like you reach that place of alignment, harmony with one another for like this phase of the unfolding of what's possible between the two of you. Then those steps can be taken in the material sense to like, okay, we're not just choosing one another, but we're choosing one another with more of our soul online and actively involved in that process of moving forward. So let's get some message cards from their higher self and see what they want you to know right now. Okay, we have I ran away from myself, not you. So your twin flame feels that you are the most honest mirror that they have ever encountered. And there's a sense of the look of love that you've given them or the outpouring of love, even early on in your connection. It's almost like your soul recognized them right away. You might have consciously realized that, or it was something that they saw that they couldn't necessarily define or pinpoint, but it was almost like I've never been truly seen by anyone until we crossed paths. I said hello. We became a part of one another's lives, and it feels like this has been something that's been very educational for them, like that they have run from this outpouring of love, that they've run from this essence of time has passed, and yet here I am still with you. Here I am having honored that promise from long ago, and I've found you yet again. A lot of deep thoughts that stir within them, and also feelings that again were like brought forth in the soul. These are the ways in which you will recognize this person in the body they will then be occupying, is through this kind of like shared frequency of all of the times in your past lives with one another where love was the winner, love transcended, or love was like a motivating factor all the way to the end. And it's a sense that your twin flame has just kind of, they've received that message. They've taken in this huge upload from you, energetically from you. And so there's a sense of, there are times where your interactions with one another, it's too much because they're uploading so much within the soul. So they're starting to kind of parcel that out from just sort of like fears of the ego. And there's a sense of, they may even just be like strengthening energetically where they can see that differentiation. There are fears they have within the ego, but then this is something where it's almost, they may have gotten nervous because their soul was awakening, and it's like, wow, what is this? What's this other part of me? What's this intuitive, sensitive part of me that I never knew existed, that I didn't equate that as part of the nature of who I am or what I am. And so there's almost like them exploring aspects of themselves through the lens of what you reflect to them. Yeah, they also say, I'm trying to understand. So it feels like this person has been maybe doing research about past lives, soulmates, twin flames. That might be a term they're familiar with. If you'd used that term with them before and they're like, I don't know, I don't resonate with that, they're resonating now. They're starting to see and to kind of witness, like, this is no ordinary love. It transcends logic. They also say, I'm worried about you moving on. So again, this is the sense of like, I don't want to wait another lifetime and hope that I'll find you somewhere. I don't want to wait 1,000 years and then it's our time again and maybe I run towards love as opposed to away from it. The gravity of the circumstances between the two of you, or the opportunity between the two of you, it feels like it's known to them on like a soul level. This is rare. It's a rare conjunction. The course of actions that they take, if they choose fear, they choose love, it determines a whole series of things. It informs many lifetimes to come and your story with one another in lifetimes to come. So in the here and now, they're really leaning into that place of like, this is the golden moment. This is that opportunity. We have both worked so hard in our lives. We've loved and we've lost and we've struggled and we rebuilt ourselves in this life, in other lives. And here we are right now with this opportunity to continue to progress forward, to continue to open our hearts to one another, to continue to let love in. So let's get some initials. This can be a first, middle, or last name, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. C, U, Y, V, A, T, L, R, O, W, K, H, P, A, N, Z, I, D, and O. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. You chose the Caribbean Calcite heart. So So let's start by taking a look at what are your twin flames' thoughts and feelings about you and the connection right now. Okay, we have Five of Pentacles, Balance, Two of Pentacles, Believe, Queen of Cups, and Reveal. So with these energies, right away I'm hearing I'm sorry. And so this feels to be something where this could be somebody who's like, I'm sorry I didn't give you the time and attention you deserved when you were trying to give me your time and attention, when you were trying to give me your heart, when you were trying to show me that you were willing to kind of meet me at the threshold of my comfort zone and hold the space for me to come into a place of pursuing you in my own time. This is somebody who it feels like may be really like fearful of commitment. They habitually feel trapped or entangled within commitments. They may have had like a series of toxic relationships, something where it's like anything that started off good, it always got very sticky. It always got very entangled. With you, this might have been the first time they had ever experienced like healthy demonstrations of love, or someone who loves themselves enough not to chase that reciprocity from others. This has been very eye-opening for your twin flame. There's almost a sense of them feeling like out of their comfort zone, or sort of like, I don't know what role I'm supposed to take in this situation. I've never known healthy love. This may be stirring up a lot of even like childhood wounding within. Like, this is somebody who's never been loved properly, never been appreciated. And it feels like there's something about kind of your autonomy, holding your ground, is the most healthy expression of love that they've ever known, because it forces them to create movement, to rise to the occasion, to feel the discomfort of being on the outskirts of your reality, or what it feels like when they run from the light of your love, like just how cold and empty that is, the power of your silence, or ways in which they may have, given you the runaround and you set a boundary with this person. They could have been hesitant and unsure, in and out, playing mind games, playing with your heart, and you said enough is enough and walked away, or redirected that focus within, like, you know what, I'm gonna love myself enough. I'm gonna go where good company is, and even if that's just me, I'm prepared to do that. And it feels like it's been an education for your twin flame, as far as like knowing what they have now that they've lost you, or that you've shifted the way in which you are giving them energy, where it's like, it's got to be equal. You got to bring something to the table. The free lunches, the open door policy, that won't stand anymore. It's like you've leveled up in some sort of way. The rules that the two of you are playing by before, it's like you've rewritten those rules. You've thrown that all out the window, and based on their actions towards you, or inaction towards you up to this point, it's changed how you're approaching this. You might have chased them at one point in time, but it's almost like you've given up that chase and they felt that. If you've been in like a no contact with one another, they feel very left out in the cold, very like, I'm stranded somewhere. I don't know how to get back. I don't know where I am. I don't know how we got this far off track with one another, and I don't like it. There's a sense of panic almost, because they're able to kind of see you for who you are. They might have felt very backed into a corner by the type of love you were trying to give before, but there's a sense of now that you've withdrawn that, or you've redirected that resource towards yourself or other things in your life, they're understanding now the importance of that energy, of you as a person within their reality. And so there's a sense of like, here's another sticky situation. Does it ever end? But there's a sense of like, they understand that all they need to really do, and there may be apologies that are owed and you know, other things in a material sense that they need to do, but it's like the simplest thing is just open to receive. That just because they may have almost sort of like control issues, or they're afraid of being disempowered through a romantic connection. They may be used to really like needy partners, or, you know, people that manipulate and control. They may have allowed themselves to be manipulated and controlled, you know, in previous relationships or other areas of their life. And there's a sense of you don't take any nonsense. You demand something higher from them because you bring that to the table. You're not like these other people that they've known romantically, where you're going to play games, or you're going to allow someone to play games with you. You might have done that at one point, but you've changed your tune in some way. You've chosen yourself, and you demonstrate in some way to your twin flame, like, this is the type of love that is possible when two people have chosen themselves and therefore choose one another. So this is something where they understand they need to approach you in a different way if they're going to get back into your good graces, or if there's the opportunity to kind of begin again or progress forward from a place where they almost like met you at that point. It feels like, of like, okay, we could become something or we could become nothing, and you've become nothing, and it's like, ooh, that was the wrong choice. So there's a sense that they like see that now. They see you in the fullness of who you are. The mask has fallen off because they've chosen to distance themselves, or you've chosen to walk away. And it's like, now they can see the forest through the trees. Now they can see you as the star that you are. They can see you as the sun. You were too close before. It was too close for comfort. Some kind of distance that has been created here between the two of you, it has brought them illumination. And so it feels like something where there's thoughts being invested in kind of like, how do we turn this around? How could I not see what I see now about you and about this situation? What's the lesson here? There's a sense that your twin flame understands, I got to go through a process of evolution, or I'm just going to be like left in the dust. I'm going to be somebody you used to know. I'm going to be part of your past, an unpleasant memory. There's a sense of like, I don't want to be an unpleasant story that you tell to people. I don't want to be that person that you never utter their name out loud again. I don't want to fall into that category of individuals in your life, or that at one point in time were passing through your life. And so there's a sense of like, I got to create a strategy. I got to create a plan. I got to map out a new way forward. I got to bring myself in from out in the cold if you will have me once again. So let's take a look at some of the blocks, obstacles, challenges, and fears that they're dealing with right now. Okay, we have trick or treat, mischief and play. Barambrock, sweetness and synergy. And winter, the sacredness of pausing. So it feels like your twin flame is kicking themselves for missing an opportunity with you. There may have been a moment or an occasion that would have been kind of like a logical in, or it would have been the right or respectful thing to do, to like reach out, say something, even just in a very neutral capacity, to like honor or acknowledge something about you. So like an anniversary, a significant event in your life that they didn't reach out and offer you either congratulations or condolences. And there's a sense of almost like feeling that you've whatever kind of wound that they created, whatever sort of hurt and disappointment, now there's a sense of like there's a wall of ice between the two of you. There may have sensed like a shift in your energy, or this could have been something where, you know, you've called back your power and you no longer chase them, and there's a sense of they're feeling the biting cold of being on the outskirts of your life, and it's not going to get warmer if they don't do something to like catch up or to try and write themselves back into your narrative somehow. There's a sense of really feeling the weight and gravity at this time of like a decision to not make matters right, not break bread with one another, not kind of meet in the middle, find a way to collaborate, find a way forward beyond all of this. There's a sense of lack mentality, maybe at the heart of all of this. Almost like somebody who feels trapped within relationships because they don't really feel like there's much quality to give. Kind of like, if you align with me, I'm just a sinking ship and you'll go down too. And that may be something where they keep people at arm's length. And they're seeing that that is like the product of a wounded childhood energy. It's something within the parental figures that never taught this person healthy love, never taught this person self-respect, or, you know, taught this person to, you know, that self-love often comes with kind of like placing healthy limits, but also knowing when to loosen those boundaries and let someone in. So this is something where it's almost, they're feeling very overwhelmed. Like, I don't know if I could come back around with anything you'd be willing to consider at this point. I don't even know how to access you. You may have blocked your twin flame, you know, changed your contact information. This could be kind of like a long-standing no contact, and you've moved forward literally with your life, where there's, you know, that assumption a lot of time has passed. It has been many winters, and we are still not in this place of back on track with one another. And so it feels to be something that is saddening them. They're looking at this kind of place that they're at right now, or that you're at with one another. The end of the year's coming up. A cycle is closing, just in terms of like calendar time even. And so it feels like there's a reminder. The holidays are coming up, you know, special occasions, special like moments and gatherings. And it's like, we should be with one another. You shouldn't have to deal with certain things on your own. If they were like your wingman, you know, your wing person, and kind of there for you like a buffer in certain circumstances, there's a sense of like, I know I'm letting you down by not being there with you, or the sense of almost like pressure of kind of like, okay, holidays are coming up, end of the year's coming up. Are we going to let another year go by and it's still silence? Is this going to be the time where I break the ice? I try to do what I can to let you know that I regret what happened between the two of us, or how I handled this situation before. A sense that they're also challenged to kind of like build up some kind of sense of healthy abundance, not overinflated ego, but like an abundance mindset within that was never taught to them. It was never templated to them. They might have been raised by people who were just emotionally insensitive, who operated purely on ego, kind of like that being sort of the legacy passed along in your twin flames family. And so there's a sense of like, that has not served them. In this situation, that foundation did not serve them, does not serve them. And so it's kind of like, how do I rewrite all this programming inside of myself so that I can take the love you have to give at face value and not wonder to myself, what's the catch? I can let you in close without fearing you're going to like take my identity or my individuality or my autonomy, and I'll still be free to be me, while we are also building and developing this kind of couple mindset with one another. All those things where you represent this warm, like hearth space to this person. They still feel you energetically and are very like drawn to you, like the moth to the flame. But it's like, I need to come with an offering. I need to come with some sort of evidence that we're not just going to end up in the same disappointing cycle that we've been in, or that caused you to lay down the law, set the limits with me. You know, I pushed you away, so you closed me out of your reality. I don't want to repeat that with you. I don't want that to continue. And so there's a sense of like, what do I need to do, or how can I kind of grow up or mature within myself in order to be able to meet you confidently in the place where I allow sprouts of new opportunity to flourish, rather than I pour hope into your life and into your heart and then I withdraw and it simply just withers, as has been the case before, or as is kind of the cycle between the two of you. So let's take a look at their possible actions towards you. Okay, we have memory, and I'm going to have to cover the artwork on this one, the light. So this energy of the light, this is the energy of the star, this is all about restoration of hope. Something that it feels like, again, that can correlate with like a special event, an anniversary, maybe even the idea of like the year wrapping up, holidays, New Year's, all of that. Your twin flame may utilize this as kind of either the New Year's resolution, this is the year that I work up my courage to show up as the better man, as the better woman, as the better version of myself so that we can begin again, or something where before the year's end, I'm going to open those lines of communication. I'm going to make that contact. I'm going to even just say, I'm sorry, and see where that goes. There's a sense that they don't want to just continue to become a distant memory for you. The memory of like the wreckage that you've experienced, the times where you've had to like cry yourself to sleep, or you felt so confused about the situation. It's like they know that. They're not oblivious to all of that. It pains them that you have been hurting in this circumstance, and that they're the one that caused that hurt. They contributed to that hurt. And so there's a sense of like, I don't just want to become that painful memory. I don't want to just become that chapter of your story, of your narrative that you don't reread. I want to be somebody that is like restoring your hope, restoring your belief in love, or belief in kind of like what we had with one another was special, is special, will continue to be special. So it feels like your twin flame moves almost into like more of a delicate energy, kind of like short and sweet, simple. It may overwhelm them, the idea of like, okay, how do I explain myself? They may have been in the process of, or even like right now, sort of like, let me draft that text, let me draft that email, and they almost kind of like tumble into words, and it may bring up a lot of panic and a lot of fear, and like, I don't know how to express myself, I don't know if I'm doing this right, and it compounds that sense of a lack mentality within. And so there's almost something where they start to kind of pull the pressure off themselves to just like short and sweet. Not that they're trying to sweep anything under the carpet, but it may be all they're capable of, just kind of like, we're not going to write that whole long paragraph to one another, but I can have this back and forth where, if you'll hear me out, we can discuss things. If you will listen to what I have to say, then I can let you know kind of what I've been working on. I can make promises. You can see if those fit in with what you're wanting, and we can take things bit by bit. It's almost the idea of like a sunrise between the two of you, coming out of this energy of the emptiness in the night. But that happens very gradually. It's not just the flip of a switch and all of a sudden it's daytime. There's a sense of like rising to the occasion, moving very gracefully, very slowly through this process of like pushing their ego behind them in order to let their heart do the talking in this circumstance for once, again. And there's a sense that they want to make sure that for the efforts that they make, that you're receptive, that you're hearing them. You're seeing the action, but you're also hearing what is stated between the lines, the things that they struggle to get out. There's a sense that they may not be what you're looking for anymore, because you've up-leveled in some sort of way. You've shut out an old cycle. It requires the energy of rejuvenation, reinvigoration, doing something they've never done before in this circumstance in order to put themselves in alignment with kind of like where you've risen to. Even if you still feel very heartbroken and uncertain about this situation, there's almost like you've risen out of the ashes of who you were when it first fell apart. You've taken steps forward, and they've just been kind of sitting in this frozen in time sort of energy. So it's a sense of like, let's thaw this out. Let's kind of work with this very gradually, because I don't want to lose you. I don't want to miss out on this opportunity with you. So let's take a look at some guidance from Spirit, and then I'll get some message cards from their higher self. Okay, we have Wise Leader. You are a beacon for others. So yeah, this is just the encouragement to continue to stand in your power, continue to reclaim your power, find ways to be the love of your own life, so that you are not depending on this person or any other person to validate that personal power that you hold inside. If you can't get that love you are receiving from this person or outside of yourself, then the best thing to do is to continue to cultivate it within. The fact that you have chosen yourself and have set your sights towards other things, maybe you're dating again, or you're just no longer chasing this person, you've shifted energetically. All of that is like intensifying your light. It's coming across as very attractive, like magnetically attractive, but also like you're glowing, you're looking good, you're doing really well for where you're at this point in your journey. And this is drawing your twin flame in, this curiosity, the sense of like, wait, don't leave me behind. But it's not your role to turn around and like go get them. It's not your role to stop your progress and like hold space for them to arrive. It's like at this particular point in the story, they are challenged to get out of their own way and stand on that equal footing with you, stand on that equal ground. You've taken your power back, you've risen in power. So this is not the time for them to bring forth the essence of like, well, I'm intimidated by you. Well, I have trouble relinquishing my own power. I have trouble receiving love. Like that's all part of the stale, old, closed out narrative that you have moved far beyond, or that you're encouraged to continue to put one foot in front of the other and move beyond, move towards something better. And know that you're the leader, you're the guide within this situation. Trust in your connection enough to be that inspiration, to be that beacon that calls to your twin flame, even just energetically, and continue to kind of focus on opportunities that the universe presents to you at this point and moving forward for like blessings, personal growth, success, abundance, all of that. Claim that, capture that, run forward towards that, and give this person the opportunity to do what they need to do in order to become that fit match for you in whatever ways they need to work on within themselves and within their life in order to join you at like this higher plane of reality. So let's see what they want you to know from their higher self. Okay, they say, I'm trying to straighten some things out first. So your twin flame does recognize that they need to level up emotionally. They need to release the baggage and the weight from the past. They need to rewrite certain programs that have been templated within them through previous toxic or karmic relationships or things as far as their upbringing is concerned. They understand there's no place for those mindsets or the behaviors associated with them in what you are expecting, what you bring to the table. What they had to give in the past didn't match what you had to give. You had to give something that was more authentic. They were only used to receiving like love with strings attached, love that is really just manipulation disguised as love, and you brought something real, and they didn't trust it at face value because it was never encountered before. And so they understand that on some level, that it's kind of like, this is me, this isn't you. You didn't do anything wrong in this circumstance. The ownership lies with me to be able to kind of come up with a solution in order to get back on track with you, or to meet you further down the road at like the place that you are moving towards. They also say, this feels too intense, I'm not sure how to handle it. So there's kind of a sickening feeling within them, sort of like, I let the best thing that ever happened to me go. I missed out on an opportunity. I judged an entirely unique circumstance based on the coping mechanisms and tools that I had forged or had been given while living in survival mode. And this person has offered me an opportunity to thrive, and I ran from that, or I pushed that away. And so there's a sense that they're being very harsh on themselves about that, and a sense of almost like, you've done this to yourself. You kicked over that tower. You created this need now to find a way to like thaw out that iciness between the two of you, chip away at that wall of time or silence or hurt that has developed. They also say, I ran away from myself, not you. So again, you didn't do anything wrong in this circumstance. You were offering them genuine love, healthy love, real connection with another person that is unlike what they have known before. And it feels like it's been humbling, the fact that you brought forth a very pure energy, and they reciprocated that with doubt or kind of coldness on their part. So there's a sense of knowing they have to do right by you. They have to do right by this connection. So let's get some initials. This could be a first, middle, or last name, or could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got P, C, O, V, F, W, T, S, V, J, M, H, G, I, A, E, T, F, and Y. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.